Please tell us about Cerora.
Sure. Our moonshot is for brain health assessment. And as a biomarker expert at Merck, big pharma, I learned that we were doing things in a way that didn't make a lot of sense to me. We were taking snapshots and images of the brain and trying to diagnose what's going on. So my company Cerora is trying to transform brain health assessment using biosensor technology that makes movies and dynamical measurements rather than static images of the brain.
So this is real time.
Yeah. So if I were to show you, I'll put the microphone down. This is an example of a single lead of EEG. We can build in an accelerometer, we can add a microphone, we can build an array of biosensors that will allow us to characterize what is going on in the brain of a subject while we give them a series of tasks. Much like a treadmill test for the heart, we do the same thing for the brain. We'll probe the visual cortex, we'll probe the auditory cortex, prefrontal and executive function, and by probing different circuits, we're trying to figure out where is the dysfunction that a given individual might have.
So we come from a family of people that get concussions.
Okay.
Way too much.
Yep.
Way too many concussions.
Sure.
Would this help?
Yes, so we started in Alzheimer's disease and then made a pivot to traumatic brain injury and concussion. And so we are developing the clinical evidence that EEG in combination with eye tracking, in combination with voice recognition, can lead to an ability for a clinician or a physician to more accurately diagnose a mild concussion that might have gone undetected, especially if the subject is cheating to stay on the field or cheating to get out of school and not have to go to the classroom.
So is this going to become state of the art? Is this going to be in every hospital or down to every doctor's office? How is this
Our
going to be
real
used?
aim is to democratize neurodiagnostics. And so we'd like to get our platform and our inexpensive devices into every family care physician, every pediatrician's office, the school nurse's office. So if two third graders collide on the playground at school, there's a way to have an objective assessment as to whether there's a traumatic brain injury or not.
It's so exciting to me that your fascination with brain health came from being a child.
Yeah, it was a real struggle being dyslexic. I got ridiculed and bullied in first and second grade.
I'm sorry,
No,
by the way.
that's okay.
As a retired teacher, I'm so sorry.
No, but it is what it is. And but at this point, my dyslexia has turned out to be a gift because I see things in three dimensions. I don't see limitations, and it gave me a very nice technical quantitative ability to think that I probably wouldn't have if I didn't have the reading disability that dyslexia gave me.
I want to play this interview in every learning disabilities classroom because it just shows that you can take a challenge and turn it into the greatest gift, not only to your own self, but to society.
Absolutely. I view my dyslexia as a huge gift, and if it weren't for that, I don't know if I would have gotten a PhD from the University of Chicago in physics, but that's what propelled me through all the way.
So what would the experience be like for the person, the actual patient that's using this?
Yeah, so we have about 11 clinical studies, and what the subject would go through, right now it's laptop based. Mm-hmm. They would sit in front of a laptop and answer a series of questions. They would have tasks with things moving on the screen. They'd be wearing a headset. We'd have verbal questions that they would verbally respond to, and the microphone would pick up not only their words, but their ums and hus and other audible but non-verbal cues. We could then simultaneously measure 3, 4, 5 different biomarkers while they go through a battery of tasks. We might have them stand and lift one foot and have an accelerometer in the headset, and instead of having a trainer or a coach evaluate how many mistakes you made, we could digitize at 100 times a second and get a very objective measure of your postural stability. So it would be it would be very easy and pleasant for the for the patient. It's all non-invasive, and most importantly, we want it to be doesn't require cooperation. It's sort of like a circuit, the brain being, we want inputs and we want to measure the outputs. And if we can figure out where that is disconnecting, then we can make a much more accurate diagnostic report to give to that physician or clinician so they can make a more accurate assessment of what's going on in the brain.
Thank you for doing this, and thank you for being able to explain it. Some high technology, right? Deep, big science, and bringing it down so that everybody in the startup health universe can really understand the innovation that you're working on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you.
Thank you,
Greatly
Adam.
appreciate it. Thank you now.